in the team finals tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. as they compete for a national championship. Also competing tonight are individual event qualifiers who, alongside our team competitors, will be vying for a top 5 placement to compete in the individual event finals on Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. There will be a lot of exciting gymnastics going on. All right, who's ready to meet the teams that are competing tonight? Let's get this party started. First up, your hometown team, the Centenary College Ladies. Please welcome the ladies gymnasts, Olivia Montgomery, Ceci Paredes, Claire Flores, Olivia Williams, Amy Fourier, Skyla Cruz, Hayden Cagle, Aria Roberts, Emma Lavelle, Sophie Schmitz, Myla Victor, Chloe Gilbert, Olivia Stratton, Peyton Burford, Anna Ichiba, Brooke Murdoch, and Erin Pinder. The head coach for the ladies is Meg Crowley. She is assisted by Joseph Hodges. Ladies and gentlemen, the Centenary College Ladies. And now, our next team from Denton, Texas, America, the Texas Women's University Pioneers. Here are the T-Dub gymnasts, Baely Upton, Ruby Gold, Brooke Ferrari, Kylie Gambari, Lady Hunt, Trinity Caffey, Elena Reed, Jordan Luke, Bailey Bourgeois, Amane Glenn, Maddie Murphy, Sophie Hernandez, Sophia Steffen, Kenny Zarlengo, Ellie Inhouse, Caitlin Hoyland, Steely King, Caroline Bounds, Emma Berklich, and Sophia Isbell. The head coach for the Pioneers is Lisa Bowerman. She's assisted by Zan Jones and Kiana George. Ladies and gentlemen, the TWU Pioneers. And here's our third team, hailing from Anchorage, Alaska, the Seawolves from the University of Alaska, Anchorage. Here are the Seawolves gymnasts, Maria Jose Prieto Carrero, Maribel Alberts, Claudia Lessig, Brianne Spain, Montana Fairbairn, Alyssa Manley, Marina Wong, Hannah Boyd, Jordan Grindle, Grace Costello, Madeline Gomez, Ariana De Sousa, Haley Perkins, Jada Niles, Marcella Bonifaci, Casey Pratley, Avery Tillman, Audrey Guess, Jamelia Duffus. The head coach of the Seawolves is Marie Sophie Bogosh. She is assisted by Kendra McPeters and Winter Osborne. Ladies and gentlemen, the Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. And now our fourth and final team in this competition. Hailing from Westchester, Pennsylvania, here come the Westchester University Golden Rams. Please welcome the Golden Ram gymnast, Riley Harana, Natalie Marshall, Hannah Shelton, Lily McFarland, Anna Lacey, Caitlin Allen, Hannah Elkins, Emma Grace Kelly, Bridget Sullivan, Tatum McWynn, Corinne Gruber, Caroline Cascadin, Jordan Coleman, Sarah Eskew, Melina Ringus, Shannon Carroll, McCarthy Keene, Catherine Keener, Lydia Stoner, Kara Vargo. The head coach for Westchester is Barbara Cordova. She's assisted by Stephanie Stevens. Ladies and gentlemen, the Westchester University Golden Rams. Time now to meet our individual qualifiers representing Fisk University. Please welcome the Bulldogs, Aaliyah Reed Hammond, Kaylee McDonald, Jada Reese, Morgan Price. The head coach for Fisk is Uriah Mack. She's assisted by Courtney Chittery and Naya Mack. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise, remove your caps, and direct your attention to the American flag. We will pause now to honor our country and those who served at home and abroad with the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
Good evening and welcome to the second semifinal round of the Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championships, the Gold Dome in Shreveport, Louisiana. 4 teams will be vying for the last 2 spots in team finals tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central, alongside Southeast Missouri State University and University of Bridgeport, who qualified this afternoon by coming out ahead against Southern Connecticut State University and Greenville University. In tonight's competition, we will see the hosts, Centenary College, alongside the University of Alaska Anchorage, Texas Women's University, and Westchester University. In addition to seeing who will qualify for team finals tomorrow night, today's competition determines the individual all-around national title, as well as spots for the event final competition on Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Central. So much excitement and a lot of moving parts in tonight's competition, but don't worry, we're here to help you through it. My name is Tiara DeTommaso, and I am joined by Baely Rowe. Baely, what are you most excited about tonight?
I am most excited to see some really great gymnastics. I'm excited for all of these teams to go out there and do their best, hit 24 for 24 to see who can qualify to tomorrow's championships.
24 for 24, that is every team's dream here tonight. We'd also like to thank our title sponsor, USA Gymnastics. Your support has allowed this championship to thrive over the past 40-plus years. USA Gymnastics is coming to Chicago, Illinois, Saturday, July 19th for the 2025 U.S. Classic. The U.S. Classic features an elite field of junior and senior gymnasts and is the final qualifying event for the 2025 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships, which serves as a USA Gymnastics annual national championships scheduled for August 7th through 10th in New Orleans. U.S. Classic is being held in conjunction with the 2025 Hopes Championships, a national-level event featuring rising stars from the women's artistic discipline in the 11 to 12 and 13 to 14-year-old age division. Past winners of the U.S. Classic include dozens of Olympic champions. Tickets for the 2025 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships will be announced soon, but it will be held in New Orleans, Louisiana in the Smoothie King Center from August 7th through August 10th. Last but not least, Higo Apparel is a pioneering force in the realm of gymnastics leotards and apparel, setting the bar for excellence and innovation. Check out their website at higoapparel.com to order the official leotard of the WCGNIC. Please see the video description for more info. All right, competition order. The events the teams are starting on were left up to chance by a random draw. Ironically enough, the home team, Centenary, chose vault, so they will be moving in home order. On uneven bars, we have Texas Women's, on balance beam, Westchester, and on floor exercise, Alaska.
On vault, we're starting out with Centenary, led by head coach Dr. Meg Crowley. She is entering her 3rd season as head coach for the ladies. And last night, she was announced 2025 WCGNIC Coach of the Year. And she is accompanied by Joseph Hodges, who is also entering his 3rd season for this team. This team is a younger team, and they're going to be looking to be energetic, have some fun. Their NQS right now is 188.110 with a season high of 192.175. They want to be energetic tonight. They want to peak at this meet with their clean routines, calm leadership, and high team chemistry. I'm looking forward to seeing this team excel on the floor.
Moving on to uneven bars, starting here today are the Texas Women's Pioneers, led by head coach Lisa Bowerman in her 14th season as head coach. Under her leadership, she's led the Pioneers to numerous national championship wins and conference championship wins, and she earned WCGA D2 Coach of the Year this season. Alongside her are Zan Jones and Kiana George, both of which are in their 1st season as assistant coaches at T-Dub, and who earned 2025 WCGA D2 Co-Assistant Coaches of the Year. The Pioneers are stepping onto the floor today ranked 48th in the nation, which is the highest of any of the 8 teams we will or have seen in the semifinals today. They have an NQS of a 195.25 and a season high of a whopping 196.6. Tonight, they're focusing on performing with clarity, pride, and unity to hopefully secure their spot for finals and go for a potential 13th national championship. Moving on to balance beam today, we have the WCU Golden Rams. They're led by head coach Barbara Cordova in her 17th season at WCU, who was named 2024 WCGA Region 7 Coach of the Year. She's assisted by Stephanie Stevens in her 8th season at WCU and 2024 GEC Assistant Coach of the Year. Westchester enters today with an NQS of a 191.62 and a season high of 192.8. In 2024, WCU qualified to team finals in this event for the first time in program history, so they're looking for a clean meet today without any counting falls to try to accomplish that feat once again.
And finally, on floor, we have University of Alaska, who is led by Marie-Sophie Bogosh. She is entering her 5th season as head coach. She was a previous standout athlete for Alaska, and as an assistant coach and head coach for this team, she has been so consistent in raising the bar for this program to get them back to this semifinal stage in postseason. And their assistant coaches are Kendra McFeeters as well as, Winter Osborne. There are great assistant coaches, and their NQS for the season is 192.435, and their season high is 193.325. This team, again, hasn't competed in postseason in over 10 years. So they're looking to not only just do their best, but if they do their average, they're going to be stellar. And so we're looking for them to be consistent and feed off of each routine that they have tonight. And for Fisk, they do have their individual athletes. We have the defending national champion all-arounder Morgan Price, and Aaliyah Reed Hammond is going to be competing for vault and balance beam. Jada Reese will be competing on the floor exercise, and Kaylee McDonald will be on the balance beam.
All right, today we're going to be in a double duel format. So for the most part, only 2 events are going to be going at the same time. It should kind of help keep the craziness down to a minimum. We are wrapping up warm-ups here and should be starting competition very shortly, so let's get into it.
Yes, starting out on vault for Centenary, we have Hayden Cagle.
And up on bars first, we have Baely Bourgeois. Opened up with a beautiful Jaeger there, so much height. And a very clean shoot over down to that low bar.
Looks like a strong routine so far. Great lead off. And here we go on vault. Tuke Pike, small step on that landing. Love to see a little bit more amplitude, but a great start for Centenary.
Also a great start for Texas women's on bars. Had that huge full twisting double back to finish.
And it looks like on the balance beam, McCarthy Keene is up first. Full turn, slight balance check. Loving her rhythm so far. She looks confident.
And first up on floor for Alaska, we have Haley Perkins.
Difficult triple series, back handspring, layout, step out. Some form issues, but overall, great job.
Alaska opens up with a double pike in the first pass, did step out of bounds. That's going to be a neutral deduction right off the bat for them.
Finishing up this beam routine, she just did her leap combination pass, jump to a split 3/4. Again, just small little balance checks throughout, but finishing up with a gainer pike and a stuck landing. Nice routine for them. You know, on beam, the hardest part is staying on the beam, and she did just that as their lead off.
Yeah, McCarthy Keene at GECs, she tied second. So in that leadoff position, still being able to put up a strong enough score to get that title. On floor, finishing out this routine, whip to a 1.5 twist.
On vault now, we have Chloe Gilbert for Centenary, starting out with the Yurchenko layout. Was a little bit piked in her hips, but again, strong vault for them, small step on the landing. So great leadoff routine.
We have Lainey Hunt following Baely Bourgeois, who put up a 9.75 in that leadoff spot. Another gorgeous Jaeger.
Wow.
Really going for these handstands here. In postseason, you know, those little details, they're just so important. Hitting those handstands, sticking those landings. In a meet like this, that can be the difference between first and second.
Wow. That was a great routine. And on beam, we have Emma Grace Kelly, who is following McCarthy's 9.675. Great leadoff for them. We're seeing some really strong routines. And again, just, you know, a beamer is a beamer. When they get up there, they are just moving throughout the routine. They're not afraid to look at the judges, and they have a nice flow. Acro side aerial, difficult. Looks like she's gonna have to repeat that, which is okay. This is a very difficult series here. She's trying to connect her side aerial into a second element. Oh no. So she was trying to connect her acro series. So you need 2 different elements connected in a row. She wobbled on her first one and tried to repeat it, and unfortunately wobbled on her second one. So start value might be a bit low. And again, there, I might have jinxed them with their rhythm and how they looked. They're getting a little nervous, but she does well bringing it back with her split jump to stag jump there.
Up on floor here for Alaska, Avery Tillman and Baely. You know, it's just so hard to come back after a mistake like that and finish up the routine.
It truly is. You know, it just kind of gets in your head a little bit. I remember I was, you know, it was one thing after another, but she did a great job handling it to the end and finished strong. And Vol, our third athlete for Centenary, another Yurchenko layout. That one had great distance, but fell short. So she is gonna have a deduction for that chest low on the landing, as well as the step forward.
Second tumbling pass, saw that 1.5 punch front pike, bent the knees a little early for that landing. Whip 1.5 again to close it out. Put that hand down. It will count as a fall. So Alaska's going to look to try to hit the remaining 4 routines in this lineup so that they can drop this score.
And that does put a little pressure on the rest of the athletes when you do see a fall in front of them. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that?
I mean, yeah, you always want to hit all of your routines so that all of the routines you're counting have maximized amounts of score. But if you have that fall in front of you, then there's kind of that added pressure because you're dropping the low, counting 5 scores. And if you mess up, then potentially you're going to have to count a fall on that event, and that can just hurt the overall team score.
Absolutely.
Cami Zarlengo on bars. Another Jaeger, this time in a pike position, a little more difficult than the last 2 we saw in those straddle positions.
Hayden McGuinn on the balance beam, such a difficult mount there. That is one mount that I don't think I would ever try. She did it very well.
Fly head first into the balance beam? Couldn't be me.
Could not be me. Coach it? Sure. Great switch leap to straddle quarter there. Getting her leap bonus. Front aerial connected directly into a back tuck, solid. Now this is the kind of routine you want after the mistake that we saw from the last routine.
You know, even with all of those mistakes, Emma Grace Kelly still got a 9.0. She did have lower start values. One judge gave her as low as a 9.5 start and one judge as high as a 9.6. So very impressive.
Yes. And finishing out round off 1.5. Side step on that dismount, but on the beam, she looked so confident. She was solid. That is exactly what they needed.
A little tip for the viewers, we do have 4 judge panels here today. So we drop the low score, drop the high score, average the 2 scores in the middle to get the final score for each gymnast.
Yes, and we just saw a vault from Sophie Schmitz, and that was probably their best vault that I've seen in that lineup. She had flat hips throughout, and that should be a great score for them.
On floor exercise here, this is freshman Hannah Boyd, and she's already earned MPSF All-Conference All-Arounder. So, you know, just a freshman competing in the all-around, such a strong competitor already. You just know they have such a bright career ahead of them.
That is so cool to do that just as a freshman.
You know, in the afternoon session today, we had, I believe, 5 all-around competitors, and so all of the gymnasts also competing in the all-around in this session. They're all vying for those top spots, the all-around individual finals.
And for Westchester on beam, we have Natalie Marshall. Another great leap pass, switch leap to that straddle quarter. Gearing up for her series here. Backhand spring, back layout, step out, finds the end of the beam, pulls those arms down for minimal mistake. Full turn, slight bobble.
Next up on bars for T-Dub, we have Brooke Ferrari.
And over on the beam, we just saw a beautiful cat leap to side aerial. And a unique dismount switch leap directly connected into her gainer pike dismount. PWU with those beautiful Jaegers on bars. Wow.
Yeah, almost a lineup full of Jaegers.
And we just saw our first twisting vault from Centenary. We saw a tucked full from Claire Flores, who was following Sophie Schmidt's 9.525.
So on balance beam, Tatum McGuinn, following Emma Grace Kelly's 9.0, she put up that 9.75. So again, we talked about having that added pressure following a fall, and she handled it with absolute grace.
He absolutely did. And that next athlete up, I wouldn't be surprised if it's pretty close to that 9.75. Looks like I'm seeing some judges throwing out some 9.7s here. And again, they're looking to drop Emma Grace Kelly's 9.0. They have 2 more competitors left.
Now, unfortunately for Alaska, Hannah Boyd did have a fall in her second tumbling pass, so they are looking like they have to count a fall on floor.
Oh no.
Little bit of a music problem there, I assume, but this is Grace Costello on floor.
On beam, we're looking at Caroline Kaskadin, who is following Natalie's 9.725. So 2 great scores for them that they're going to continue to wanting to build. Wow, standing layout step out. I don't know how else to tell you guys this, but it is difficult. That is such a difficult skill to do.
Definitely.
Another beautiful leap combination, switch leap to that straddle quarter.
Grace Costello, a huge double pike to start. Big smile on her face when she landed that.
Beam is keeping it solid. She should just have a leap combination left and then her dismount. But overall, beautiful routine. Just one little bobble I've seen so far. Just the dismount left for Caroline. She's gonna go round off 1.5. Small hop forward. Wow, these last 3 routines have been great for them on beam.
And Grace Costello on floor, following 2 falls, managed to hit that routine.
And a front handspring front on vault to a low stick, but it was a stick. She did not move her feet. And that was Olivia Montgomery, who was following a 9.575 from Claire Flores.
Those feet did stay absolutely planted there.
Maybe we'll start seeing some more sticks. I hear sticks are contagious.
Oh, definitely. A beautiful Maloney right into a shoot over from Caroline Bounds. She has a season high score of a 9.9 on this event. So I don't know if we're going to see it as high as that. That was a pretty great routine. So
we might. This little leg separation through in the Maloney. But other than that, I mean, what else do you take?
I would give it to her.
Me too. I'm not a judge, but I would give it to her.
Oh, me neither.
It's okay.
We're honorary judges.
Yes, yes, we are. We have our last competitor for Westchester, Lily McFarland. And so Caroline, who went before her, received a 9.8. That is the highest score for them so far on beam. And Lily starts out with a beautiful series back handspring layout step out. Got a little bit ahead of herself, had that slight bobble.
And up on floor, junior Ariana De Sousa.
Beautiful beam work from Lily. Beautiful extension. She had that 180-degree split on both her switch leap and her split half. Just the dismount left, round off 1.5. Almost finds the stick. Had a hop, but hey, they're going to get rid of that 9.0. We're going to see a good beam score from Westchester.
Just what they wanted to start out this competition.
Yes, and our first look at our individual for Fisk. beautiful Yurchenko full flat hips throughout the air, just had that hop back on our landing.
You know, like we mentioned, Morgan Price is the reigning national champion for the all-around from last year. If she wants to get that today, she's going to have to top Taylor Engel from SEMO this afternoon. She got a 39.225, so that is the number to beat. Alaska with another hit routine on floor, getting back on track. They just have their anchor left. Same with Texas women's. Now we have anchor Caitlin Hoyland.
And she was actually a transfer from Oregon State University. Beautiful bar worker, from what I remember.
Another gorgeous Jaeger in the pike position, E-valued skill. I feel like Texas women's can host a clinic on how to do a beautiful Jaeger.
Yes, they absolutely could. They had a lineup full of them. Great height, great distance. Bring me to one. I need it. And another individual athlete from Fisk here, competing on the balance beam.
Aaliyah, she competed in all 13 meets this season for Fisk, so a strong competitor overall.
And nailed her series there, back handspring to that side aerial.
Alaska here with their anchor, Montana Fairbairn.
And Aaliyah finishing up, beautiful gainer full off the side of the beam. She nailed on top of the beam. She even stuck her landing. That was a beautiful routine from Aaliyah.
All eyes on Montana, last competitor of this rotation. You know, always got to give props to Alaska, traveling the furthest compared to any other team to get here and compete, but also maybe most equipped to compete multiple days in a row, because every weekend that they compete in season is a double meet weekend because they have to travel so far every time. So, you know, they have 1 week of double meets and then they get an off week and then another meet weekend with 2 meets. So, you know, with the potential of having 3 days of competition in a row here, I would guess that they're most equipped to deal with that.
Absolutely. And even coming into postseason, having the ability and having that experience it gives them a little bit of a top, you know, it gives them a little bit more of an edge to, you know, have that ability.
All right. Again, we have our sponsor, USAG. This championship has been going on for 40 plus years. They're coming to Chicago, Illinois. Make sure you buy your tickets. Make sure you go. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of former Olympic champions have won this event. We're also going to see a bunch of elite gymnasts, both juniors and seniors, competing at US Classics in Chicago, Illinois, July 18th and 19th. And tickets for the 2025 Xfinity Gymnastics Championships will be announced soon. But again, New Orleans, Louisiana, Smoothie King Center, August 7th through August 10th. Going to be a lot of fun. So also get your tickets for that.
5, 6, 5, 6,
And Higo Apparel, look at that beautiful leotard. Don't you want to buy it? Don't you want to wear it?
I want to buy it.
So many sparkles. Those sparkles, you know, they're just gonna sell it. The judges are gonna want to give you a 10. All right, and we've wrapped up our first rotation. We have Texas women's in the lead with a 48.925. Westchester following behind them with a 48.7. Centenary coming in third so far with a 47.3, and Alaska in last place currently. They did have to count that fall with a 46.675. As we move into the next rotation, we're going to see Centenary move to uneven bars, Texas women's move to balance beam, Westchester on the floor exercise, and Alaska on vault.
Yeah, that was a great first rotation for all of the teams. I thought they came out strong, they came out looking confident, and they were able to build on all the routines, which is great.
Yeah, hopefully we see the energy continue to stay positive, continue to stay hyped. And we will be back soon for the second rotation. All right, welcome back to the 2025 WCGNIC preliminary semifinals for tonight. We are at this meet. We have Texas Women's, Centenary, Westchester, and Alaska. Sorry for the pause there. They are competing here, trying to earn that spot for the team finals competition tomorrow. Also seeing who's going to be crowned the national individual all-around champion tonight, and who is going to earn a spot at event finals on Sunday afternoon. We finished up the first rotation. Currently in the lead, we have the Texas Women's Pioneers. Following behind them is Westchester. Behind them, Centenary, and in last place currently, because they did have to count a fall, is Alaska. But we're looking for a turnaround, hoping that they can bring that energy back up on the next rotation.
This concludes the touch warm-up for our second rotation. We are ready to begin our second event. Judges on vault and bars, you may take control of your event. Up first for Alaska on vault, we have Maribel Albert. First for the ladies on bars, Olivia Williams. Starting for Tina on beam, Baely Upton. And leading off on floor for Westchester, Lydia Stoner.
And here we are going to be getting started on vaults with Alaska. They're going to be wanting to look for those landings. They're going to want to try to minimize those deductions. They did have that mistake on floor, so here's a great chance to bring themselves back.
Alaska worked really hard the past couple of years to build the difficulty on vault, and we're going to see that today.
And you just saw that there, starting out with a tucked full. She had great height on it, she just needs a little bit more rotation, but overall, great start for them.
First up on the uneven bars for Centenary, we have Olivia Williams. Now, Olivia does not have a single bar release in her routine, but she does have a huge full twisting double back dismount, so be sure to look out for that.
Yes, and we have TWU on beam. They came off of an incredible bar rotation. They're going to want to build on that here, staying calm and steady. Beautiful back handspring back layout, had that slight balance check.
And Olivia Williams with a beautiful stick on the uneven bars, feet planted, not a single movement, wobble, toe wiggle in sight.
That was beautiful.
And first up on floor for Westchester, Lydia Stoner.
Finishing up the balance beam routine here, front full stuck landing. Wow. You said it in the beginning. Go ahead.
This season, Texas Women's did have a little bit of hard time on the balance beam. It hasn't been their most consistent event, but we're looking to turn that around here today and have one of their best meets, which, you know, can go as high as a 49.2.
And Alaska back on vault. You talked about the difficulty, struggled a bit there to get that block off the table.
One and a half punch front layout. We do want to see those second flips in those acro combinations on floor rise a little bit higher than the first flip to avoid any deduction at all. That kind of stayed a little bit flat, so just a little bit more rise is what we're looking for. But a great start for Westchester.
And on the balance beam, our first performer received a 9.8. That was his leadoff.
That is so impressive as the leadoff. Normally you see those scores rise as they continue to have hit routines. So kind of just having that as a starter, so impressive.
In a difficult triple series, back handspring, layout, step out, layout, step out. People, they just seem to be rushing their landings a little bit. You want to make sure to lock in the landings before you move on, so you don't have those little wobbles. But she handled it well.
Emma Lavelle on the uneven bars.
And another great routine for TWU.
Double layout, came off the bar a little too early. Couldn't get it all the way around. Had to put her hands down, unfortunately.
And Jamila, oh no. Again, they're going after the difficulty, which I love that for Alaska. She went for a Yurchenko full in a laid out position. They are going to want to drop that score, but that is only going to get better as, you know, the years go on for her.
Up on floor now, we have Emma Grace Kelly, just a freshman. She did get second team all GEC on this event, so a very strong competitor looking to come back from balance beam where she had that little mishap, didn't have an acro series. Opens up with a front layout. Rudy front 1.5 twist or Rudy almost went out of bounds, but Baely, she did stay in.
Yes, she did. And what do we say? The line is in. Up next on beam for TWU is Emma. She is following a 9.8 and 9.75. So great start for them on beam. She is going to want to look to just do her normal, just like she does every day in practice. Beautiful full turn. Series, back handspring, back layout, throws those arms down, so confident.
Emma Grace Kelly with a hit routine on floor. Just 2 passes. You know, we're seeing that a lot these days instead of 3 passes. Baely, what are your thoughts on that?
I have mixed feelings, I will say. I was an athlete who did 3 passes, but my body was able to handle 3 passes, and I think that's the difference. You know, you have gymnasts who are able to do those harder combination passes like you just saw from Emma Grace, and, you know, it is going to save their bodies in the long run. They have 3 more years of gymnastics for her. That's a long time to be pounding on your body. What about you?
I agree, although I do absolutely love seeing a 3-pass floor routine. If you can get those requirements in 2, you can kind of just sub it in with some leaps or some jumps that is lighter on your body, less pounding, and also potential for less major deduction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But sometimes I would even... Yeah.
The odds of falling on a leap pass are slim. They're not 0, but they're slim.
Yes, I was just going to say, but you can find more deduction in a leap pass if you're not great at leaps. So luckily for her, she had beautiful leaps.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I like the 3 pass when I see it. And
I don't see it right there.
BWU just continuing their streak on beam here. Emma receiving a 9.775.
Kat Keener on floor, opened up with a front double twist. We saw one of those, I believe, in the last rotation from Alaska. That is an E-valued skill, so up to par with a double layout or a full in. So very difficult skill.
Yes, and on beam, we're looking at Sophie Hernandez. She's doing great so far. Just nailed her acro series of a back handspring back layout. Leap series difficult, switch leap, switch half. Talked about those E elements. That switch half is an E element on the balance beam. And just the dismount backhand spring, 1.5 twist off the end. She had a couple built-in deductions there with her backhand springs, had some bent legs, but overall another solid routine for them on beam. And Alaska, another Yurchenko full, keeps it on her feet. That was Hannah Boyd. Again, the difficulty is there. I just want to see a little bit more amplitude so they can get that vault all the way around.
Up on bars now, we have Erin Pinder, another freshman for Centenary. We did talk about them being a younger team, but a beautiful Jaeger. Shoot over just a little bit of leg separation. You know, those turning skills, you want to make sure your legs are glued together. The momentum of your body twisting in the air does kind of want to make you separate them, but you do want to glue them side by side.
Yes, and that coach was fired up after that routine. Love to see it. BWU not counting a score under 9.75 currently. Sophie Hernandez receiving a 9.8. And this is Steely King.
I've just been so impressed by Texas women so far in this competition.
You said it. They're the team to beat. I mean, they've scored a season high of a 196.6. That is an incredibly high score. So all they have to do is just be normal. And they're doing just that. Steely having a great routine so far. Just had that slight balance check there on our kick over front.
And Caroline Cascadin opened up with a round-off double pike, basically turned around in about 2 seconds, did a second tumbling pass there. Very quick turnaround.
Wow, and a beautiful dismount from Steely over on beam, round off 1.5. Had a beautiful rise. And on vault for Alaska, last athlete to go, Montana Fairbairn. Yurchenko half on, half pike off, finds the stuck landing. That's going to be a great score for them on vault.
Last tumbling pass here for Caroline. Baely and I were talking about this earlier. Caroline Cascadin, one of those fifth-year seniors, came back for another year of eligibility from a COVID year that was lost. And this is that last season that we're seeing all of the people impacted by COVID taking that fifth year.
Yeah, so we're no longer going to see athletes that are going to come back for that fifth year. You only get 4 years of eligibility as long as you don't take a red shirt or have any injuries. It'd be weird to see.
We have Claire Flores following Erin Pinder, who got a 9.475.
And on the balance beam for Texas women's, we have Caitlin Hoyland. And Texas women's has 3 9.8s in their beam lineup so far. Beautiful front aerial, back handspring. She did keep her arms moving. That's going to be up to the judges whether they connect that or not. But from my understanding, as long as your body is moving and you don't move feet, it is a connection. They can just take rhythm. Oh no. On that side aerial, it just looked like she dipped into it a little bit too early, meaning that she turned a little bit early. That's why you saw that fall. And again, there, it just looks like she's just rushing a little bit. She's not taking the time to really ground herself into the beam in each of those landings. But sticks the landing. The good thing about that is that, they didn't need that score. I know that takes some pressure off. But let's see if she can bounce back for her next event on floor.
Lily McFarland, grad student for Westchester, another one that took that COVID year. Punch front tuck through to a double back.
I think it is so impressive that these athletes are taking a 5th year. It just means that they've really taken care of their bodies. They can handle another year of gymnastics.
Taking a second here, trying to get some last breaths before this last tumbling pass. Round off back handspring, double pike to finish. So excited about that routine. These postseason meets, they're slightly different compared to when you're in regular season. They have these corrals. That's why you see the teams off to the side. They're kind of secluded. They have to stay in there. They're not allowed to be right next to the floor like they would be in regular season.
And that can bring a different atmosphere. I don't know about you guys, but I remember practicing, being in a corral in practice. We would put boxes around us so we were far enough away from our team. It just creates a different kind of atmosphere.
I have a vague memory of all of us having to stand on one mat.
Yes, you couldn't move off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in regular season, at that time when you stick a dismount or when you land a dismount, your team is running at you, whereas now you have to run to them.
Or everyone's lined up on the one side of the floor, in the corners behind you, yelling and just feeding you energy from that close.
Yes. Now they just have to yell a little harder.
Oh, definitely. Voices will be lost by the end of this weekend. This is senior Bridget Sullivan. Lily McFarland got a 9.8 in her routine. Throws in that round-off back layout step out there. You are required to have both forward and backward tumbling elements in your floor routine. So both of her tumbling passes, her major tumbling passes, are forward tumbling passes. So that round-off back layout is just thrown in there to fulfill that little requirement. All that's remaining now in this competition are our individuals, or at least in this rotation. We have Morgan Price up on the uneven bars. Earlier this season, Morgan became the first FISC gymnast and first HBCU gymnast to score a 10.0. He scored it on this event, so capable of putting up a high score, if not a perfect one.
Oh yes, we can just sit back, relax, and watch the beauty of this routine. Oh. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Just the small step on the dismount, but gorgeous.
Yes. She just looks so elegant on bars, and that's like, usually you use that term for floor and beam, but she has the lines, she has the flow. It was beautiful.
And next up on floor, we have her fellow FISC teammate, Jada Reese. Jada did qualify to floor last year as an individual, and she's here again. Earlier this season, she debuted a double layout on the floor exercise, and according to the head coach, we should be seeing it again this weekend. I mean, you never know based on how warm-ups go, but crossing our fingers that we see it here now.
Sneak peek, I saw it in warm-ups, so we should be seeing it.
They needed some more tape for the floor mats. Gotta mark the out of bounds.
Yes, that is actually very important. Because it could be a neutral deduction if you don't.
So many tiny little rules that occur in gymnastics that a bunch of people don't know about, but it's always in the back of our minds as gymnasts or coaches. A little bit long, didn't quite get the takeoff that she was looking for, but she pulled that around.
She sure did. She made it work.
I love the simplicity of this leotard.
I do too.
Just the yellow accents. And another very difficult tumbling pass. Front tuck through to a 2.5 twist.
Oh no, she looks a little bit upset about that. I mean, that first pass was a little bit short, but she should be proud of herself in this moment to get here.
And only her second time competing that double layout. And she still got it on her feet, so a lot to be proud of here today.
Absolutely.
All right, our U.S. Classic in Chicago, Illinois, July 18th and 19th. Be sure to get your tickets. They are on sale now. Who knows? You might see a future Olympic champion competing there, because we've had dozens of Olympic champions compete there in the past. And it also serves as the final qualifying event for the 2025 Xfinity U.S. Gymnastics Championships. Tickets will be announced soon, so keep a lookout for those so that you can buy them and get a great seat to witness some fun gymnastics. And Higo Apparel, our pioneering force for leotards and apparel. This leotard, the color of WCGNIC, blue and red. Support your favorite teams here today by purchasing this leotard. All right, we are halfway through the meet. Texas women's a little bit ahead of the competition, 94.85. Westchester close behind, 97.2. Following them, Alaska has pushed ahead past Centenary with a 95.025 and Centenary with a 94.925. We saw a lot of great gymnastics in this rotation. Nobody had to count a fall. We did have a couple here and there, but no counted falls, so that's great. And our next rotation, we're going to be seeing Alaska move to bars, Centenary move to balance beam, Texas women's move to floor exercise, and Westchester move to vault. We'll be back with you shortly after this brief break. Welcome back to the Gold Dome in Shreveport, Louisiana for the second semifinal round of the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championships. We have in the lead Texas Women's, following behind them Westchester University, currently in third place University of Alaska, and then we have the host Centenary College.
We're at a halfway point, and two teams have just kind of taken it away. We have TWU and Westchester at this point in first and second. Tiara, what are your thoughts in what they need to do to continue this energy in order to qualify for tomorrow?
Texas Women's just needs to keep doing what they're doing, coming in as the #1 team here today. As long as they hit and do their normal, they should be able to secure their spot for tomorrow. Westchester has competed on their two strongest events already. They now have vault where they are lacking in start value, only 2 vaults above that 9.75 start, and uneven bars has definitely been a weak point for them this season, battling a lot of injuries, missing a lot of key players on these events. So Westchester is going to need to have to hit and hit clean to make sure that Alaska doesn't sneak up behind them.
Yes, that will be very important. And you talked about starting with their 2 best events and going now to 2 of their maybe less strength. Sorry, excuse me. We're starting on bars. We're looking at it right now. We have, excuse me, sorry. Beautiful, wow, Bayle down to the low bar. Blind change. Piked, oh no, piked Jaeger. Now she has to finish strong here. Half pirouette into that double tuck. That's going to be tough to come back. You don't always want to see that first person in the lineup falling. Usually they're going to be their most consistent in order to get that lineup started.
Alaska definitely looking to hit those next 5 routines. They want a shot at making team finals. The top 2 teams in this rotation advance. They will compete against SEMO and Bridgeport, who qualified earlier today.
Yes, on floor for TWU. Or excuse me. Yes. Switch side, Popa Wolffel. Elena starting out with a double pike. Beautiful.
Bridget Sullivan on vault for Westchester. Yurchenko layout, slight hop back, but very clean in the pre-flight and the post-flight.
Elena coming back with a strong combination pass, front layout, front full. Love the rise that I saw on the second flip. And the facial expressions to end that routine.
Sophie Schmitz on the balance beam, senior co-captain of the Centenary ladies. Such a strong leader on this team and in this leadoff position, showing so much composure on the balance beam.
And up
a little bit of a wobble there.
And up next for Alaska, we have Avery Tillmans, who's going to want to drop Madeline Gomez's score here. Beautiful start with a Jaeger. little shy on that handstand. Not sure what happened there. She's gonna have to take an extra swing. Just gonna want to look for a stop dismount here. Blindfold into that double tuck.
Sophie with a gainer fold, dismount on balance beam, hit routine for Centenary to start. And on vault now we have senior Shannon Carroll. Yurchenko layout. Came back this season, only just competed for Westchester at GECs. So this was just her second meet out this season because she had a major injury that kept her out from performing.
And Cammie on floor. Huge double tuck. And apologies on that last routine. That was Baely on floor, and she received a 9.825. Second pass here, ran off 1.5 front layout. Good job there. Such a fun routine.
Lily McFarland on vault. Yurchenko tuck full to a stuck landing. That was a great vault for her. She has a season high of a 9.65. That might top it. Not sure yet. We'll have to see what the judges have to say. Centenary with a fall on balance beam, Hayden Cagle.
And up next for Alaska, we have Claudia Lessig. In bar, Tkachev. Just the dismount left. Pull out, dismount, finds the landing. Had some form breaks throughout, but they needed that. They needed that hit.
And Hayden coming back on balance beam, started that routine out with a fall, but wrapped it up so strong. And here on vault for Westchester, freshman Riley Harada with a Yurchenko layout full. That is the highest start value today we're going to see from Westchester. The remainder of the vaults are layouts, so very nice that they can capitalize on that score.
And on floor, we're looking at Baely Burgos. Starting out with a huge double pike, had too much power. She went out of bounds. So you will see that flag go up and a neutral deduction at the end of her routine.
Baely following a 9.825 and a 9.75 from her teammates that came before her.
You can see her teammates dancing in the background. Usually, like we mentioned before, they're usually lined up at normal meets. But this is championships. They have to be corralled. but comes back. Great 1.5 front layout. We talked about this earlier. You want that second flip to rise. So we want to see that 1.5 a little bit lower so we can get in a good position to punch, but nice double tuck to end that routine. And back on bars, Alyssa Manley. Before her, Claudia received a 9.6. Like I said, they needed that. They needed somebody to get them back on track here. Let's see if Alyssa can build on that routine. Starting out with a good handstand, nice giant full, huge Tkachev.
So much height on that release move.
It is so hard to do to Tkachev that well, and she did it beautifully. She has incredible turning skills, as you can see, and a unique double pike to that stuck landing. That's going to be a great score for them. That, again, is going to get them back on track.
Here on vault, McCarthy Keene. Another Yurchenko layout. Like we talked about Riley Harada, that one Yurchenko full. She got a 9.65, and Lily McFarland with a Yurchenko tuck full, a 9.625. So those are going to be the highest scores for Westchester on vault today.
And a good rotation for them. Like you said, they're going to be looking at start values that were a little bit lower. They wanted to minimize those deductions, and I thought they did a great job. Up next on floor, Sophia Isbell. And you see that 9.6 from Baely ahead before her. She did have that neutral deduction. So that was going to be a 10th off of her score. Sophia starts out with a nice double tuck. A little bit big, too big of a step for myself, but we'll see what the judges do with that.
At least it was a step in the right direction.
You know what, Tiara, you're so right. That is true. Nowadays, if you are taking a step in the incorrect direction, meaning if you're going forward and you take a step back, that is going to be a 10th deduction. If you are tumbling backwards and you take a step forwards, again, that is going to be that 1/10 deduction. That just means that the athlete didn't rotate enough.
Final vaulter for Westchester, Corinne Gruber. And another clean layout to close out the Rams on vault.
Sophia coming back with a nice combination pass, 1.5 front layout. And another one of those 2-pass routines. I feel like we're going to see a lot more of those.
I believe the majority of Texas women's lineup is 2-pass routines. Except their anchor, I believe, has 3 tumbling passes.
Yeah. And up next for Alaska, this is Jamelia. Looks like she's gearing up for a huge Jaeger. Unfortunately, lets go of the bar too early. Not sure if she touched the bar. So if you don't touch the bar in a release like that, typically you want to see the athletes repeat it because that skill won't count. So her start value might be a bit lower. What's really impressing me about Alaska, I know I said this on vault for them, but they are throwing the difficulty that they need in order to get the best start value that they can. And they're only going to get better and better each year by consistently working on those skills and perfecting them.
And, you know, we talked about it. They haven't been to a postseason meet in over a decade. This isn't something that comes right away. You know, sometimes you have to go out there and try first, and then maybe next year they'll come back and be even stronger.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
On vault now, individual for Fisk, Aaliyah Reed Hammond.
And on floor on the left side of your screen, we're looking at Sofia Hernandez from TWU.
Aaliyah with a Yurchenko layout full to a stuck landing, chest a little bit lower than I might have hoped for, but definitely very impressive and gonna be a great score for her.
Yes, and we saw a front through to double pike over on floor from Sophie. Huge amplitude on our leaps there. Switch side half to a straddle jump.
And we're finally back on balance beam as well. We had a large break there while the judges were trying to figure out Hayden's score. Milia Vidtor up now, did a huge back handspring layout series, took that step back, had a fairly large wobble, but managed to stay on the beam. So a very impressive fight.
Sophie doing another one of those 1.5 front layouts. Had a lot of power coming out of it. Luckily, she had some dance to cover it up. Texas women's is looking very polished right now. And it looks like they're just having fun at this point. Up next on bars, Jada Niles for Alaska.
They've had a tough rotation so far, hoping for a hit routine here to close out this third rotation for them.
Yeah, starting out with a nice Maloney, going back down to the low bar with a bail. Finishes up nice giant full directly into that double tuck, and she hits it. She had that step back on her landing, but I love that she went up there. She did her job.
And we talked about Alaska, you know, having those difficulties that other teams don't have to deal with, traveling so far, traveling so much more than these other teams. And, you know, in 2024, they were #1 in the nation for GPA of all of the gymnastics teams. So an impressive feat for them as well.
On the floor exercise, last competitor to go for Texas women's, Kylie Gunbari.
Just a freshman, but in that anchor spot already. And on beam for Centenary, we have Anna Ichiba.
Nice round off double pike. Typically, we see those double flips coming out of a back handspring, but she takes that back handspring out and has enough power to do it out of a round off, which I think is a little bit more difficult.
Anna with a beautiful side aerial right into a split jump on balance beam. And a gainer full to a stuck landing to finish out this routine. She's just a freshman as well, earned a spot after having a shin splint injury.
Kylie coming back, combination pass, nice front full front layout. Just a freshman, she has so much poise and just confidence on this event. I'm so impressed. Last pass, like you mentioned, 3-pass routine, round off, double tuck, practically sticks it. Wow, that was a great routine for Texas women's.
The style of her choreography and the music, it's kind of different than the rest of her teammates. They have more upbeat, more fun routines, and she kind of has that more serious, kind of creepy vibe going on. And I actually love it. She sells the routine so well.
She certainly does. I was just gonna say, I am so impressed when freshmen can come in and do exactly what she just did. It is so hard sometimes as a freshman. It's something that's new. It's a new experience. It's everything, but she did a great job handling that.
Up next on balance beam, another freshman, Chloe Gilbert for Centenary. Back handspring layout, not a single wobble or hesitation, pulled those arms down immediately. That is, in my opinion, a sign of a strong beam worker. They understand they need to lower that center of gravity to eliminate any potential wobbles.
And Kylie Gambari on floor got a 9.9. Highest score I think we've seen all day. Oh no.
Chloe with a fall there, unfortunately, on an acro element. Centenary going to have to count a fall on this event. But closed it out with a round-off double twist to a stuck landing. Always impressive coming back, finishing that routine, and finishing it as strong as possible because, I mean, she knows that one of those routines are going to have to count, but you never know if your routine will have to count, even if it's a fall or not. Beam, the only event left competing in this rotation. We have one more competitor from Centenary, and then we have Morgan Price following behind her. So 2 more competitors.
We talked about at the very top of this rotation what TWU needed to do, as well as Westchester needed to do. Do you think that they did their job so far?
Oh,
Staying
definitely.
1 and 2?
Texas women's, they put up 6 great routines on floor. I would say the only maybe major deduction was the out of bounds from Baely Bourgeois. And Westchester went up. They hit 6 clean vaults. That was their goal as well on that rotation. So both of them have done their job so far. 1 rotation left. We'll have to see. Anything can happen in gymnastics, but currently we're looking at Westchester and Texas women's advancing.
It's a nice routine so far for Centenary. In moments like these, when you have 2 falls in front of you, I just remember, pressure was almost taken off. You can kind of focus on yourself and really go out there and do what you need to do and what you practice every day. At the end of the day, if you put more pressure on yourself after 2 falls, that's only going to make you a little bit more nervous. But she's handling it well.
Emma Lavelle, she was one of the 2025 AAI award nominees. Very prestigious honor to just be nominated for that award, so congratulations to her. And she's also been a consistent captain on this team this is her 3rd season as a captain, so definitely a leader on her team and in the gymnastics community in general.
That is so impressive. And for those that don't know what the AAI award is, it is the equivalent to what the Heisman is in football, but we call it the AAI award in gymnastics. So very prestigious award.
I mean, we all love AAI equipment. Best beam out there.
Absolutely. Just put a little chalk on there and it's perfect. That one looks a little bit too chalky.
Yeah, you gotta blow some of that off.
You need a little bit more grip than that.
I always loved a fresh new beam.
Yes, I did too. Still needs a little bit of chalk on there. The turns sometimes would get stuck, you know?
Yeah, that's the only skill that would get me, but I loved the rough feeling of the beam before any chalk was on it.
Absolutely. You felt invincible. You could do anything.
You can really just grip onto it so much better.
Yes.
All right, last competitor of this rotation, Morgan Price. Getting that full turn out of the way right in the beginning of the routine. It looks simple, but nothing is really simple in gymnastics.
No, I was just gonna say hot take, full turn might be the hardest skill on the balance beam.
You know, full turn, any turns on beam, any leaps and jumps, a lot of people think they have to hold back for those skills to make sure that they don't fall. But that is the worst thing that you can do. You have to attack all of your skills on beam the same. You have to be aggressive. You cannot hold back. When you hold back, that's when those little bobbles come in and your potential to fall.
Yes, and she did not hold back. She was over split, 180. Beautiful routine so far. Morgan Price. Double twisting dismount.
And a stuck landing to close out this rotation. Another thank you to our title sponsor, USA Gymnastics. You've allowed this championship to thrive for the past 40 years. USA Gymnastics coming to Chicago, Illinois, Saturday, July 19th for the 2025 US Classic. This serves as the last qualifying event for the 2025 Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships. For the US Gymnastics Championships, tickets will be announced soon. Keep an eye out for that. For the US Classic, tickets are already out, so go buy them now. And another look at our WCGNIC Special Edition Leo. So beautiful. Everybody wants to buy this Leo. Support your favorite college team that's at this championship. 8 amazing teams here all together and 2 additional teams with individual gymnasts, and you can support them by buying this Leo. All right, we're going into the final rotation. Texas Women's and Westchester both have pulled ahead. Texas Women's with a 146.925, Westchester a 145.025, and Centenary with a 142.45. They pulled ahead of Alaska again, and Alaska with a 141.825. We saw a lot of beautiful gymnastics in this rotation, and we have one final rotation left. We'll see Texas Women's on the vault, Westchester on the bars, Alaska on the balance beam, and Centenary on the floor exercise. And we will see you soon after this brief break. Good evening. Welcome back to the final rotation of the second semifinal round of the WCGNIC in the Gold Dome in Shreveport, Louisiana. Again, we have 4 teams here in this session vying for the last 2 spots at team finals. Currently, it looks like it's going to be Texas Women's and Westchester, but anything can happen in gymnastics. This last rotation is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see the outcome and see these gymnasts perform in this last rotation.
Same. I'm so excited for this last rotation. You mentioned with Westchester, this is another one of their, weaker events, if you will. So, knowing that and knowing that some other teams could potentially catch up to them, what are you going to be looking for them to go and do to stay in that second spot?
Westchester, they definitely need to go out there and hit their routines today. They've struggled a bit with consistency on this event as well as difficulty. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries this year, haven't had their top players out on the bars or on all of the events for that matter. So with a season high score currently of a 47.9 on this event, they just need to go out and hit.
Yes. That is important. And let's talk about the individuals. Fisk has 4 individuals competing in this session. They had 7 total this year. It is hard to be an individual not having your full team behind you and you're competing with a team that you haven't competed with. Talk about maybe some of the experiences that they're having and, talk about how well they're doing tonight.
The best thing is that there are 7 gymnasts here that qualified for Fisk. There's 4 in this session. There were 3 earlier. So yes, they're not rotating with each other, but they're there in the same arena in spirit. And these other teams that they are rotating with, they kind of take them in as their own for the weekend. And it's always so sweet to see that camaraderie and just how quickly a team is to support someone else in this sport.
You said that well. PW starting off with a great Yurchenko full on the vault. That was Elena Reed. On bars for Westchester, Cara Vargo. Nice Maloney. To that bail, leg separation, but connects it right into a toe on, toe off. Just the dismount left. Like Tiara said, they just need to go up there and hit their routines. And has a big step forward, but a good start for them on bars.
First on balance beam, Montana Fairbairn for Alaska. I didn't see her there at first. She ran on mounted from the end. I was wondering where she was, and she popped right into frame.
And on floor for Centenary, we have Sophie Schmitz. Starting out with a nice combination pass, front fold to that front pike. Beautifully done.
Montana with a back handspring, swing through side aerial. Very interesting combination. Not to mention the fact that you have to step down out of your back handspring with your opposite leg in order to swing through and do your aerial on your dominant leg.
I was just trying to think about that in my head, Tiara. I was like, wait a second. You can't side aerial on your back side. That is so difficult. That'd be so weird. But she did great at it.
On vault now, we have Baely Upton for Texas Women's. Yurchenko layout full.
And Sophie, last pass. Want to see her get those feet a little bit more around on that twist. But a good lead off for the Centenary on floor. Going back over to bars, looks like there might be a judges conference. So judging if either their start values or their scores are within a certain score, they might have to come together, find this the same, or if they're in a score, if there's too wide of a score difference, they have to come together and find an average score to come to.
Yeah, Kara's dismount not up to level, so they might be having a debate about that. Just as that toe hand into that double back, a toe hand is a C-valued skill, and you're required to do a D-valued skill somewhere in your dismount combination, and she does not do that, so they could potentially be arguing about that. Up on beam now, we have Marcella Bonifaci following Montana Fairbairn, who got a 9.75. Side aerial, swing through side aerial, a bit of a slow combination, but as we talked about earlier, as long as you're continuously moving, it should be okay.
You never want to leave it in the judges' hands.
Alaska coming out, finishing on balance beam. How hard is that to do?
You know, if you're in a regular season meet, that is something that you do consistently. And so I always thought as an athlete as well as a coach, you know, you treat it as so. They've done it so many times. You just want to go out there and remember those moments, and they should be able to finish strong.
Texas women's, another Yurchenko full on vault.
And on floor, Brooke Murdoch, following Sophie's 9.25. She starts out with a combination pass, front layout, front full. And like we mentioned before, looks like she might have more front tumbling passes as her main passes. So she does have to do that round up back tack to get the requirement of a back tumbling pass. Gearing up here, looks like front Rudy brings that chest up fast. Another leap combination here, switch half to that switch full. Would like to see her plant those feet into the ground so she doesn't have that hop back, but great routine after that 9.25 that we saw from Sophie. Heading back over to the bars here, they were able to figure out the score there for Kara, as we will see it come through. Up next for them is going to be Riley Harada. And it looks like Kara Vargo received a 9.1. You talked about not having an up to value. Sorry, I was leaning over for her on that handstand. And she does a great job of saving that. But you talked about the start value potentially not being up to level. Riley doing a great job here, trying to settle in. Giant full. Double tuck. Nice finish there. She seemed a little bit rushed in the beginning, but after her Tkachev, she pulled it back, found her rhythm, and stuck that landing.
There's that tape on floor. Taping those mats.
Looks like they can't get the tape off right now.
Trinity Caffey on vault got a 9.875. She was following 3 teammates, 2 of which got a 9.7 and 1 that got a 9.6. So Texas women's over there on vault currently killing it in this last rotation.
And what an event to end on. You have the adrenaline going into the event. You're enjoying the meet. All they need to do is go out there and hit their vaults, and they're going to be qualifying to the next day. On floor, we have Aria Roberts, who's following Brooke Murdoch's 9.425. I believe I saw a start value of 9.9. That's why her score might be a little bit lower. And a little bit too much power on that round-off double pike. Did take a step out of bounds.
And we saw Sophia Isbell on vault for Texas Women's, another Yurchenko layout full. So this is the first team to do all vault starting at a 9.95 or higher.
Yeah, I want to say they have one athlete that is competing at 10.0 vault. She can do a Yurchenko 1.5.
Yes, that will be Caitlin Hoyland. She's up next for Texas Women's, and she is the first TWU athlete to compete a Yurchenko 1.5.
Such a hard skill. Aria coming back with a nice combination front layout front. And she will have that 1/10 neutral deduction, unfortunately.
And over here on the right of your screen, that's Caitlin Hoyland preparing for that Yurchenko 1.5.
And up next on bars on the left side of your screen, we have Melina Ringas, who's following Riley's 9.4. Let's see if she can build on that routine here. Nice handstand, clear hip, into her ginger. It has a bit of a leg separation on that skill, but you're twisting and turning. It is very hard to keep those legs together. Coming back down to the low bar, nice overshoot. She's hitting these handstands though, I love it. And nice dismount, just a little step on the landing.
Caitlin Hoyland, Yurchenko 1.5. Just that step backwards. We talked about wanting to take a step in the correct direction. The step in that vault should be a step forward, so slightly under-rotated, but, you know, absolute props. She's the only athlete in this competition that performed that difficult of a vault. And up next on balance beam for Alaska, we're going to see Claudia Lessig.
And on the left side of your screen on floor from Centenary, we're going to be seeing Emma Lavelle.
Looks like we now have our score locked in for Texas Women's at a 195.7. So they will be moving on to the team final competition with that score.
Yes, and they did a great job today. They came in, didn't have to count a fall, and they should feel good going into the next day. With that neutral deduction from the previous routine on floor from Aria, she received a 9.325. Emma coming back with a front through to double tuck. Nicely done. Nice leap combination. Switch side half to a straddle jump. Whoa, that was cool. And it looks like the score came in on bars from Melina Ringas was 9.7. So that is going to be a score they definitely want to build on over on bars for Westchester. Emma finishing strong with that combination pass. They should be happy about that one.
Claudia on balance beam, a very difficult acro series she performed. She did a front aerial directly into a back layout step out. So extremely difficult. We talked about standing layout step out being hard. Now imagine putting another skill in front of it.
Sarah is SQ doing a beautiful job on bars right now, keeping her toes and knees glued together, executing nice lines. Little short on both of those handstands there, but strong double tuck to that stick. That was a great routine for them. They needed that.
SQ, one of their all-around competitors, went out because of that injury early on in the season. She normally performs a double layout at the end of that routine, but still babying that ankle, can't quite do it yet. But she's such a strong bar worker that they still want her in that lineup, even if that dismount is watered down.
And what an incredible athlete to have in that lineup as well. Like I said, her lines were beautiful, but to be able to have the bag of tricks that she has to pull out a giant full double tuck is even more impressive. So from going from a double layout to a completely new dismount just says so much about that athlete. And on floor is for Centenary is Claire Flores. Wow, nice double tuck. Opens up, doesn't need to take that step.
Up on balance beam now, we have Hannah Boyd. That Alaska freshman in the all-around. Very strong acro series, back handspring layout step out.
Claire gearing up for her last pass here on floor exercise. Front layout, front full. Looked a little off on that punch, but she pulled it through to get that front full in. And a strong finish for her. Oh.
Just a little low on that dismount for Hannah on balance beam, but another hit routine for Alaska.
What an all-around debut for the freshman at Nationals. Excuse me. On bars for Westchester, Jordan Coleman. She is following Sarah's 9.75. Beautiful Jaeger, directly connected into that overshoot. Nice job keeping her legs glued together, going down to that low. A little shy on that for that last handstand, but pulls it back with that giant fold. Huge double tuck to that stuck landing. That's going to be a nice score for Westchester on bars. That was a beautiful routine.
Jordan, the reigning national champion on that event from last year, maybe looking to kind of defend that title again this year if she possibly can.
I mean, that was a great routine. I could definitely see it. In a show we're gonna see on the floor exercise from Centenary, we have Olivia Williams in the anchor spot.
And on balance beam, we have Grace Costello.
Westchester looks excited over there. 9.875 for that last bar routine that we just saw from Jordan. I'd be excited too.
Topping her season high score, not topping her overall personal best. That is a 9.925, so a little bit higher, but still a great routine.
Yes, and Olivia on floor doing a great job stepping into the corner in the right direction.
Grace Costello with a very difficult skill there on beam. And wrapped up, round off 1.5, stuck landing. She is so excited about that.
And Olivia finishing strong on floor for Centenary. Just back to back, just amazing gymnastics that we're seeing. And I love the energy. Love that they're building off of each other in the arena right now.
Yes, I'm sure that everyone in that gym can feel that energy.
Yes, and we see the final competitor for Westchester, McCarthy Keene. Oh no. Would love to see that Jaeger just pull up just a little bit more. You can tell that she was actually reaching up for the bar. You want to actually be coming down on the bar in a Jaeger. So a little bit difficult of a fall. But you never know, this score could count, and they're already counting a 9-1 right now from the first athlete, Kara Vargo. So let's see if she can finish this one strong. They do seem to be in a good spot right now. Comes back down to the low bar with a nice fail. Oh. And way to finish that up for her on bars.
On balance beam, Jada Niles with a triple series, back handspring, layout, step out, difficult element.
She also did a double full for a turn, which
I didn't even catch that.
Very difficult. You usually see that in a wolf position, but she decided, nope, I'm gonna do it in a regular position, which is actually an E.
Morgan Price on floor.
He's finishing up her all-around performance this evening. She starts out huge double pike. Loving the pointed toes in the air.
Now, nobody come after me if my math is incorrect, but currently, if she wants that national individual all-around title, she would need a 9.7 to tie Taylor Engel with a 39.225 and a 9.725 to take that title.
And she is very capable of that.
I mean, reigning national champion, her goal today was not to focus on winning it all again, but instead to just focus on her gymnastics and all the little details, and the results will come.
Second pass, round off 1.5, front full. She's doing exactly what you just said, focusing on her gymnastics. I don't know. Did she do it?
I think she did.
We're gonna see. Wow.
Our final competitor of the evening, Kaylee McDonald for Fisk. This is her first time qualifying to nationals. She is a senior. She was the beam leadoff all season for the Bulldogs. Acro series there, front toss in a pike position to a back handspring. So far, I'm impressed with what she's done. She's currently competing in technically the 7th spot of the lineup, and for having competed as leadoff all season, this is a completely different thing for her to do, having to wait to compete as opposed to competing right away.
And having to wait the entire meet as well.
Yeah, not just this event.
Not just event, yeah. She did a beautiful job.
A beautiful routine to close out this meet.
I'm over here looking at Morgan Price's score. I'm trying to see what it is.
All right, one final time, thank you to our title sponsor, USA Gymnastics. Be sure to buy those tickets for the US Classic in Chicago, Illinois in July of 2025. Tickets are on sale now. And also keep an eye out for the 2025 Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships. Those tickets will be up soon for sale. That's going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the Smoothie King Center. And now we'll have our one final look at this beautiful leotard for tonight. Be sure to go out, purchase this leotard, support your favorite college team that's in the WCGNIC championships. All right, our final event, Texas women's on vault, had a stellar rotation. Westchester did have a fall, had a low score they had to count, but hit the rest of the routines, and Alaska came back, had a great last rotation, even though they struggled a tad bit earlier in the night, and Centenary closed it out with a very fun floor rotation as well.
And looking at the final scores, you're looking at TWU and Westchester. Looks like they're going to be moving on to the next day. On vault for this evening session. In the first place spot, we have Trinity Cathy from TWU receiving a 9.875. In the next two spots, we have Aaliyah Reed-Hammond from Fisk. In the third, we have Caitlin Hoyland from TWU, who competed that Yurchenko 1.5. On the uneven bars, coming in first for this session, Jordan Coleman from Westchester receiving that 9.875. And tied for second, we have Caroline Bounds from TWU and Morgan Price from Fisk receiving that 9.85. And tied for fourth, Caitlin Hoyland, Alyssa Manley receiving a 9.8.
And as a reminder, the top 5 in all of these rotations will advance to event finals on Sunday. So on balance beam, we're going to have Morgan Price in that first place spot with a 9.9. Her, along with Aaliyah Reed-Hammond from Fisk, Jaden Niles from Alaska, Caroline Cascadden from Westchester, and then Bailey Upton, Sophie Hernandez, and Steely King from Texas Women's, and Claudia Lessig from Alaska, all advancing to event finals. On floor exercise, in first place with that 9.9, Kylie Ganbari from Texas Women's. Her teammate Sophie Hernandez in second. Their teammate tied for third, Bailey Upton. And then we also have Morgan Price from Fisk and Lily McFarland from Westchester advancing to Sunday. All right, and in the all-around, combining both this afternoon session and today, in first place, now a two-peat national champion, Morgan Price, with a 39.35. She etched out Taylor Engel from SEMO this afternoon, who got a 39.225. And coming in third place from Bridgeport this afternoon, Abigail Kenny with a 38.95. And one final look at tonight's competition for the teams in first place and advancing into team finals. Texas Women's University with a 195.7. In second place, also advancing to team finals tomorrow night, Westchester University with a 192.85. In third place, Alaska with a 190.625. And in fourth place, Centenary with a 190.4. And that wraps up the first day of our 3-day Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitation Championships. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central to see Southeast Missouri State University, University of Bridgeport, Texas Women's University, and Westchester University battle it out for the 2025 national title. It's going to be a great meet. Until next time, this is Tiara DeTommaso and Bailey Rowe signing off.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the final team scores for the semifinal number 2 of the 2025 Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational Championship. Finishing in 4th place with a score of 190.400, the Centenary College ladies. Coming in 3rd place with a score of 190.625, the Alaska Anchorage Seawolves. In 2nd place, earning a score of 192.850, and advancing to Saturday night's team finals, the Westchester University Golden Rams. And finishing in 1st place with a score of 195.7, and moving on to tomorrow night's team finals, the Texas Women's University Pioneers. Time now to recognize the top 5 individual finishers on each event who have qualified for Sunday afternoon's individual event finals, where they will compete for a national championship on that respective event. Starting on vault, these young ladies will all move to the event finals. Matching scores of 9.7 from Alaska Anchorage, Montana Fairbairn. From TWU, Sophia Isbell. In 4th place with a score of 9.775 from Fisk, Morgan Price. Finishing 3rd with a 9.8 from TWU, Caitlin Hoyland. Your 2nd place vault, she scored a 9.825 from Fisk, Aaliyah Reed Hammond. And tonight's top score on vault was a 9.875 by Trinity Caffey, TWU. Those are your vault finalists. Let's go now to the uneven bars. 2 athletes scored a 9.8 to tie for 4th place. From Alaska Anchorage, Alyssa Manley. And from TWU, Caitlin Hoyland. We also had a tie for 2nd place, matching scores of 9.850 from Fisk, Morgan Price. And from Texas Women's University, Caroline Bow. And tonight's top score on bars, from Westchester, she earned a 9.875, Jordan Coleman. And now to the balance beam results. All of these athletes moving on to Sunday's event finals. We had a 5-way tie for 4th place. All athletes scoring a 9.8. From Alaska, Claudia Lessig. From Westchester, Caroline Cascadin. From TWU, Steely King. From TWU, Sophie Hernandez. And from TWU, Baely Upton. In 3rd place with a 9.825 from Alaska Anchorage, Jada Niles. Finishing 2nd on beam with a 9.850 from Fisk, Aaliyah Reed Hammond. And your top score on B was a 9.9. Congratulations to Morgan Price from Fisk. And now we'll go to our final event for exercise. Finishing in 5th place with a score of 9.8 from Westchester, Lily McFarland. Tying for 3rd place with matching scores of 9.825 from Fisk, Morgan Price. And from TWU, Baely Upton. In 2nd place with a score of 9.850 from TWU, Sophie Hernandez. And tonight's top score on floor was a 9.9. Congratulations to Kylie Ganmari from TWU. Congratulations once again to Westchester and Texas Women's University, the 2 teams that earned a spot in tomorrow night's team finals from this session. They'll be joined by Bridgeport and SEMO at 7 o'clock tomorrow night when a champion will be crowned. Thank you for your attendance this evening, and we look forward to seeing you back here in the Gold Dome tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Team finals. Let's go!